Hello, and thank you for joining us. We are back with another episode of BNI San Diego's podcast. I am Ed Wilson, your show host. I am also the executive director for BNI in the San Diego area. I'm excited to be joined by a very good friend and colleague, Dr. Jazz Raymer. She is an acupuncturist. Now, Dr. Jazz, you've been an acupuncturist now for what, roughly 10, 11 years?
About 10 years. Yep. My clinic has been in San Diego for 10 years. We're celebrating that milestone this year, 2020.
Congratulations. 10 years, that is a huge milestone.
Yeah. Thank you.
Terrific. And Dr. Jazz is an amazing colleague. She's a professional. As I've gotten to know her over the years, her business acumen, everything that she does exudes professionalism. She does everything to excellence, whether it's using a needle on the acupuncture side or doing a workshop. We've done some workshops together. I just enjoy all the time that I get to be with you.
Thank you.
What are we going to be talking about today?
Yeah. So one of the things that I was excited to share on a podcast was about the in between the meeting engagement between the members. I think that's a really important thing that, I guess I've seen it shift over the years. And so I was telling you a little bit earlier, but I'll share the story again, that this started before COVID, maybe about 2016 or 17.
You mean there was life before COVID?
Life before COVID, yep. And I was at the international convention when I was up in LA.
Yeah.
And I was there all day, had a wonderful time, and I just sat on some couches to take a break. And this gentleman sat down next to me, and he was one of the franchise owners in Europe. And we just started chit-chatting, and he pulled out his phone, and he was showing me that all of these people were on WhatsApp, all of the different chapters, and he was able to communicate with his chapter members that way. And that really struck me as a great way to communicate, because at that time, it was still just via email. I don't know if those older members remember, but when you were in the emails, there were like the threads that would go through, and sometimes the messages would get lost, and it was really hard to keep track of all that stuff. And I did find myself sometimes being overwhelmed or frustrated I missed something. So seeing that WhatsApp was like a light bulb in my head. And then I remember bringing it to the group, and they're like, well, maybe. So then when I became president, I decided to make that my mission. How could I get all my members to communicate more frequently and more effectively between the meetings and not miss those messages? So I suggested the WhatsApp. I encouraged everyone to get on it. And there were a lot of people that were dragging their feet. Well, then COVID hit. And guess what? That WhatsApp came in handy. Very handy. The thing is, people can miss emails. And sometimes Androids and iPhones don't like to talk to each other. But if you have that WhatsApp, it's a really good app between, let's that communication happen between those devices. So you were telling me that most chapters have WhatsApp now, which I think is great. But one of the things I also wanted to share was during that COVID time when everything shut down and no one knew what was going on, the thing that we kept coming back to was the community that BNI we had created together was something we wanted to continue. And so while I was president, I decided to add in a weekly prompt. So every Sunday, I would add in a prompt to try and get engagement between the members. For example,
what a great idea.
Yeah. So I'd say does anyone have a pet that they're hanging out with today? Put a picture in the WhatsApp. And so all these, members would put in the pictures of their pets. And maybe a different day I'd say, is anyone enjoying the sunny weather? What are you guys doing? Are you going on a hike? Are you outside? And we get pictures of that. And so what I was trying to do with that was think about how sometimes those more personal things might be missed in the one-to-ones. You might not know that you have those things in common. And so how could I prompt a way for people to reveal some of those more personal things to build a rapport, which is what we're trying to do anyway, within the chapter, to grow that culture and get that connection and make those associations with each other to build that trust and credibility.
Well, and let's face it, in a given BNI chapter meeting, the agenda is so scheduled that there's not a lot of time to really build the relationships. It's really built, after the meeting's done and through before the next meeting. And what a great avenue to be able to build the commonality, to learn, like you said, a little bit about people outside of the meeting, whether it's what kind of dog they like, what are they doing over the weekend, And as we begin to find or to develop some commonality, we have this little process called VCP. Do you remember what VCP is?
Oh, yes, definitely.
What's
Visibility,
VCP?
both credibility, both profitability.
Absolutely, right? We want to make sure that we're going through from being very visible with one another to going into credibility and then ultimately to profitability. But it comes through the building of relationships. And I loved how you put it. It's between the line, right? It's between today's meeting and next week's meeting. It's when we live our lives and how we live our lives, and the ability to be able to share that with each other through a simple WhatsApp. And I've had people ask, hey, why not just use our regular iPhone, Android app? Why not use that, right? But there's something different about a completely different platform where you're able to communicate on, because let's face it, we probably all get way too many text messages. And if we're looking for banter back and forth, you can silence the WhatsApp so you can look at it later in the afternoon. Oh, look at that. Apparently I raised my hand, didn't even mean to. But what a great avenue. Are you seeing a little bit more engagement within your fellow referral partners?
Oh, yeah, I definitely have seen it evolved. That was a couple of years ago. That was 2019. So it's been a couple of years. And I just love how it's changed, and the quality of the exchanges has improved from, the little things that you're doing every day to, hey, I was on next door and somebody was looking for a window washer.
Yeah.
Suggested you, referral coming your way, and, picture like, screenshots of that exchange, or even on different social medias, people screenshot their exchanges saying, hey, I recommended you for this. Or, if there's like some accomplishment, like if someone wins an award or they're presenting, at an art show or, something like that, we get a place to all celebrate that. That's not taking away from the meeting time. And then when we plan our non-meeting stuff, like, the happy hours or barbecues or whatever, it's nice to have that information in there. And then, taking pictures of us all get together.
Yeah.
And putting that on the WhatsApp for the people that might have missed it, not to make them feel bad, but to make them feel included, right?
Ooh, I like that. Inclusivity is incredibly important.
Right. Because not everyone can make all those non-meeting times, and, people have families and life and travel, and that's fine. But, it's a good way to, keep that engagement and keep reminding each other of the community that we have created together.
Well, and really being able to share life with one another.
Exactly.
I love one of the things that I've noticed, and it's a direct correlation, but I'm on probably almost all of our chapter WhatsApp, and I love just kind of peeking in, and it's inevitable that you see where dialogue is happening on a very regular basis, and it's not so much all business dialogue, it's actually friendship dialogue. When you see the chapters that are engaging with WhatsApp on a regular, literally daily, hourly, weekly basis, you see the success of those chapters as well. So it's nice to see that while they're building the relationships, the success on the business side is actually growing as well. And it's amazing the correlation between the two. As chapters tend to be quieter, you notice that sometimes chapters are like that in the meeting as well. And there's just a different dynamic. When you see the chapters that are much more lively and they're laughing with one another, they're sharing life with one another, oh my gosh, and you attend their meeting, the engagement, the energy in the room is just off the charts. It's so awesome to see.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Now, I know that you had another topic as well that I'd also love you to talk about.
Yeah, I did. I am proposing an unofficial tech role or social media.
Dr. Meisner, are you listening to this one?
Are you listening? And, maybe one day it'll be something that exists, or for now, some of us have volunteered to create social media posts, right? Mm-hmm. So as we're trying to grow our chapters, and visitors sometimes tend to be one of the more challenging things to do.
Yes.
I'm sure you hear about that a lot. But, being on social media, because, where is everybody? Everyone's online. So that's where we got to go to. And so if there is someone in your chapter that's perhaps tech savvy or knows how to create a post, I like to use Canva, if anyone's heard of that. But I would make the posts and then put it in the WhatsApp and then just ask everyone to repost it.
So you make it very easy.
So we call that done for you material, right? So all they got to do is repost it. And if that's too much, then just go to your Facebook, find me, and repost what I posted, right? Just 2 clicks, and you could share it with your network. And, there's still people that don't want to do that, and that's fine. But if you can at least get 4 or 5 people from your chapter, maybe everyone from your chapter, that's more people that will see the post and hear about the chapter and what kind of businesses you're looking for, than if you didn't do any of that at all. So yeah, just that done for you stuff, just to take all the effort out of it and make it super easy for the people that might be a bit more challenged to be able to post those things and then repost, whatever.
You're creating exposure for everyone in the chapter. You're creating it to the outside environment. And let's face it, we used to have these things called, they used to call the conversations by the water cooler.
Oh yeah, exactly.
This is, and what I loved about what you said just a few minutes ago is we're going where people are, right? And people are in that social media environment. Let's go to them. Let's reach out to them. Let's, be a regular, what's the term? A regular attendee in their environment, right?
Yep.
It's great. It's a great opportunity to share some props and give recognition to a speaker that's speaking that week, or something that was done extra special in the chapter, or highlighting an anniversary like yours coming up with 10 years. Those types of things. Social media can be a great avenue, and I love you guys have taken it to a little more even further, where the done for you, I love that. We're going to use that as a technical term, the done for you post, right?
Yep. And yeah, just that effortlessness, to be able to put that call to action out there, right? Because there's many podcasts that Meisner talks about, how to get people to come and visit the chapters. But if you can just do this visual, right? Because that's the whole thing about social media is we have a 17-second attention span now.
Yep.
Think about like TikTok and Reels and like all this stuff. It's so short that you have to figure out in less than 60 seconds, right? That's too long now.
Oh, that's way too long.
You have to figure out how to, tell someone about your business. How do you show them what you do, and visually, right?
Well, and when you there's something about when you see someone and the body language and how they move, all of those things, whether it's a picture or it's a small video, there's something about the element of trust that comes into that, because you can get the feel by the personality coming through. So I love that element of sharing pictures and videos to be able to share on social media. What a great opportunity to create some added exposure.
Yeah. And hopefully that will grow the chapters too, if enough of us do that and, grow BNI as a whole.
Well, and ultimately that's the goal, right? Is to create an environment where we can bring in more referral partners and more strategic. It's not just about bringing anyone and everyone in, but if we can bring in key individuals that are going to help our referral partners, it's all the better for everyone in the room.
Right.
And if we can utilize social media or some of these platforms to do it, oh my gosh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So and are you seeing everyone, is this like yes, everyone is doing, or are you seeing people that are not that are maybe are not comfortable on social media, so they're a little more hesitant on those types of things?
I think it's mixed. And, we talked a little bit about that earlier, that sometimes it's generational too.
Yeah.
No judgment, just observation that, there are different generational tendencies towards comfort of the social media, and that's okay. Not everyone has to. But the people that are comfortable and can do it, or if people are open to being taught about it, it's just another way to promote yourself, your business, your member peers, right? Because givers gain, right? If you can teach someone, what's that phrase? If you teach a man to fish.
Feed him for one day.
Mhm.
Wait, no, if you give a man a fish, you feed him for one day. If you teach a man a fish, you feed him for life.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the beauty of having that giver's gain mentality, like you talked about, being able to share with people and help them understand just how easy it is. And if you're not comfortable, we're going to make it easier for you with what was the phrase? Done for you?
Mhm.
Done for you. Yeah, love that. Love that. So, Dr. Jazz, thank you so much. We covered two really good topics. I want you to, if you wouldn't mind, we're going to be ending our show here in just a moment, but you have an amazing book out,
I do.
Herbs Immunity Health. Is that correct?
Correct.
You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So when the pandemic hit, as an acupuncturist in the health and wellness industry, I was looking for resources. And a colleague and I were talking about, why are we not talking about remedies from home, or herbs you can find in your kitchen, or acupressure you can do on yourself if you're feeling sick or have a viral infection? And we realized it just didn't exist. So let's write a book. So we wrote this book based on the need for us to want to share with our patients that, there's more to be done at home. We can be participants in our own health. There are all kinds of little habits that you can have at home, like drinking hot water, drinking it with lemon, finding different herbs or spices that can help heal your body or decrease inflammation. So we list out different herbs. We have different acupressure. We have a section called What to Do When. So you can look up different things. What to do when you have a headache. What to do when you
what
have
a great area.
Yeah. What to do when you have a cough, and all the different things that you can do. So we list out all the different remedies that you can do from home. And so we want this to be a resource for people that they have on their bookshelves. And then when they wake up and they're like, oh, I have a sore throat, what do I do? You go to that book and it'll give you some solutions. So you can find that on Amazon. We have both a Kindle and a printed version of it.
And you're going to see an image show up here in just a second of that book. This is by our very own Dr. Jazz Raymer here in San Diego. Dr. Jazz, what's your website as well?
Yeah. So for the book, it's www.herbsimmunityhealth.com. And my personal website is Jazz Hands Acupuncture and Massage.com.
I love that. Jazz Hands.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Well, I really appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule. I know it's very full right now with all the things going on out there, right? Mental health is incredibly important in making sure that we're taking care of ourselves. And I know you're really passionate about that. And as a matter of fact, I'd love to have you back on sometime soon to be able to talk about that element of the importance of really making sure that we're taking care of our mental health.
I would love to join you.
Something that's very visible right now and so appropriate. So I look forward to having you back again with us.
Me too. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ed. I appreciate this. This was fun.
Thank you, and have a great afternoon, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Everyone, we will see you back next week with another exciting podcast. And who knows, who knows? That's not the right language, but you never know who's going to be joining us from around the world here in our local BNI San Diego. Thank you again for joining us, and we'll talk to you all soon.
This episode of the BNI San Diego podcast has been brought to you by Cruise Productions, a San Diego-based video production company and proud BNI member. You can find us at the intersection where business and creativity meet, or online at cruiseproductionsinc.com.